Hey there, my name is Matthew and I'm a video editor and member of the creative team here at ValCinema. And today we are going to talk about 4K. Specifically, does 4K matter for wedding videos? 4K is one of those terms that gets thrown around a lot nowadays. TVs are 4K, videos are 4K, iPhones apparently shoot in 4K, but what does it actually mean? This is going to be a bit more of an educational one, so brace yourself. 4K, for our purposes, basically refers to the resolution of your video clips. So let's start with that. Resolution is basically how many pixels tall your video is. This might give you a good frame of reference. If you're watching on YouTube, or if you have YouTube on hand, try going to the settings of your video. It should look like a little gear icon on the bottom right corner of your frame. If you're on mobile, it will look like 3 dots on the top right corner of your frame. And if you're watching on Instagram, then take our word for it, I guess. You should see a setting that says quality, and in the drop-down menu for that, you should see numbers ranging from 144p to 1080p. P in this case stands for pixels. So if you're watching this at 720p, which is technically high definition, then the image you are viewing is 720 pixels tall and 1280 pixels wide. If you're watching at 1080p, which is sometimes known as full HD, then the image you are viewing is 1080 pixels tall and 1920 pixels wide. In general, and obviously there are boring film technicalities that we could spend an entire video on, but in general, 4K Ultra HD is 2160 pixels tall and 3840 pixels wide. So it's about 4,000 pixels wide, thus being known as 4K. 4K footage also offers 4 times as many pixels of data as 1080p offers. So clearly, the footage is 4 times as good, right? Wrong. Are there benefits to 4K? Absolutely. Will most media production move in that direction in the next couple of years anyway? Probably. But it's worth mentioning that in most cases, the human eye struggles to tell the difference between 1080p Full HD and 4K Ultra HD. Especially on iPhones or laptops, especially on screens under 40 inches, there tends not to be a discernible difference to the average viewer. Some sources say that if you were to sit 8 feet away from your TV, you would need a screen size of over 60 inches to even be able to tell the difference between 1080p and 4K. For some practical examples of this comparison and for some really great in-depth technical information, go ahead and check out, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Matti Haapoja's video on the difference between 720, 1080, and 4K. I have linked it down in the description. At ValCinema, our full documentaries and wedding highlights are typically shot in 1080p Full HD. We believe our footage not only looks great, but achieves our goal of telling your story in your style. Not to throw more technical specs at you, but one more benefit of shooting in 1080p as opposed to 4K is that we are able to consistently shoot in 60 frames per second. I know, more numbers, but this one is pretty simple to explain. Video is basically a bunch of pictures whizzing by like a flip book, and frames per second refers to how many pictures are captured by your camera every second. So your average fiction, non-documentary movie or television show is typically captured in 24 frames per second. It gives it that warm, smooth, cinematic feeling. Sports games, news broadcasts, soap operas, and reality TV is typically captured in 30 frames per second. There's not as much motion blur, it's a little crisper, but also maybe a little more sterile. If you film at a higher frame rate, like 60 or 120 frames per second, that does give editors the capability to export their footage in 24 frames per second. However, it also gives them the ability to put that footage in slow motion while still maintaining the quality of the footage. Most 4K cameras at this point in the year 2020 only shoot in 30 frames per second, which doesn't really afford us the ability to slow that footage down at all. Slow motion is a tool that we really love using at ValCinema to really heighten the most important moments of your day. Here's something else that's worth noting about 4K, especially in the wedding videography industry. Some wedding videographers may try to charge you more money because they shoot exclusively in 4K, as if that alone is indicative of the quality of their footage. I can confidently say I've seen really fantastic footage shot in 1080p or even 720p, and I've also seen really low quality, grainy, out of focus footage shot in 4K. In conclusion, 4K does guarantee an increase in pixels, but it does not guarantee an increase in quality of your footage. The only thing that can guarantee that your high definition footage is also high quality is hiring a professional, experienced videography team. If you have any more questions about 4K resolution or any of the technicalities of videography, please feel free to drop those questions down in the comments below or reach out to us on our website at valcinema.com. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.